to DIY Hair School, and today we are going to go over how to do a basic three-strand braid. If you have fine hair like me, a braid can be extra challenging because your hair is so fine and shiny and soft that it is slippery, which makes it harder to work with. Curly hair, textured hair, frizzy hair are all going to hold shapes more easily. So if your hair is fine, it's probably very smooth, and that does make it a little more challenging. So it can be a bit more frustrating to learn, but I promise it just takes practice. I have taught my 8-year-old how to braid hair, and she learned pretty quickly with some practice, but don't be frustrated if it's difficult at first, because that is normal. It looks like such an easy thing to do, and it is easy once you get the hang of it, but it is difficult at first to learn how to use both of your hands at the same time to manipulate your hair. But just keep practicing. Don't give up just because your braids don't look perfect right away. So let's do it. We're going to start with a chunk of hair towards the front of our face. If you have short layers like me, probably not the very front, because you want a decent amount of hair to work with, but you don't want to be trying to braid back behind your head until you've got the hang of it, because A, you can't see what you're doing, and B, it's just harder to master doing the braid backwards behind your head than doing it forwards while you can watch yourself. So while you're learning, I do suggest either braiding someone else's hair or braiding the front of your hair. You can also get mannequins off Amazon for pretty cheap with synthetic hair. That's actually how I taught my 8-year-old how to braid her hair, was on a mannequin, because then she could practice as much as she wanted without needing me to sit there and let her braid my hair over and over again. So we're going to take this chunk of hair here, a fairly decent size chunk, not a huge chunk of hair to start with, but a good amount to work with, because if you're working with tiny amounts of hair, that is going to be harder to do. So you want to start with a fair sized amount, and then you want to break that section into 3 equal sections. They don't have to be perfectly equal, but you don't want one really thin section, one really thick section. So I like to take 2 fingers and put them into the section like so, and kind of feel the pieces. And yeah, they're pretty similar. And then you've got your 3 separate sections. So now with your 3 sections, I do suggest trying to keep your hair down while you're braiding. Try not to hold it out, because then when it falls down, it's not going to sit nicely. So we're going to try and keep our hair facing the direction that we want the braid to be falling, which is down in this case. If we were trying to braid around our head, we'd be holding the hair around our head, but we are trying to braid down, so we are going to hold the hair down. So you hold 2 pieces of hair in one hand, 1 piece of hair in the other hand, and the key here is you're always taking an outside strand and putting it over the middle strand so that it becomes the new middle strand. And you're just going to alternate outside strands becoming the new middle strand. So we're going to take that outside strand, we're going to wrap it across, grabbing it in between our 2 fingers, or whichever way you want to hold on to it, and then you're going to take that middle strand and it's going to become the new outside strand. And then transfer that new middle strand to the other hand, so we can now work with this one. And it goes over the middle, grasping it in our fingers, and then we're going to take this one over here, because it's now this new outside strand, and we're going to transfer that back to this hand, because we're going to go back to this side. And you're just going to keep repeating this motion over and over all the way down our hair, and you will see your braid forming. You shouldn't need to go like this. You don't need to create a really tight braid, especially if you have fine hair. The tighter you make your braid, the smaller it's going to look. You also don't want to like completely release all the tension so your braid is coming apart. Good tension pulling down, it's going to create a nice tight braid, but you don't need to alternatively squeeze the hair up in the process. So just keep going. Middle strand, or sorry, outer strand becoming the middle strand. And like I said, it can take a little bit to get the hang of the motion, and your braid probably won't look so uniform at first because you're gonna hold some of the hair tighter, you might pull some, you might start to shift the braid while you're working with it. All that's normal and will dissipate with practice. Eventually you will be able to create nice even braids, and just work on braiding your hair like this before you try doing any other styles, before you try working in any sort of braid styles or learning how to reach back and braid your hair. Just work on getting that 3-strand braid motion, and I promise once you have that down, all other braids will become much easier because all other braids are really just a variation of the basic braid. I hope that helps. I hope that you are able to be successful in braiding your hair. Leave me any questions in the comments and I will do my best to answer those for you. Make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss any more of my videos. I do post 3 here on YouTube a week, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I post every day on my Instagram and my TikTok, DIY Hair School, so follow me there. Bye guys.